Okay, we are in episode 7 of season 4 of Lower Decks. It's called A Few Badgies More. And if you have watched Lower Decks, you might have noticed that there's kind of a recurring theme of rogue AIs becoming problems for the Cerritos crew. And this episode has all of them in one episode. We've got Badgie, the psychopathic holographic badge guy who's supposed to be kind of like Clippy, that Rutherford programmed, who ended up becoming homicidal. You've got Peanut Hamper, who is the exocomp who deserted from Starfleet. And then you have, what's his name? I wrote it down and I keep forgetting it. Agamus. Agamus is a more classic evil computer character that you might have seen in like he's an original character for Lower Decks, but he's the kind of evil computer that you might have seen in an episode of the original series, right? Like that kind of evil computer that has taken over society, and basically everyone just follows what it dictates without thought. And that character is voiced by Jeffrey Combs, who is a veteran Star Trek actor who has played a multitude of roles, as well, probably most notably Weyoun from Deep Space Nine and Shran from Star Trek Enterprise. But this episode is actually kind of about rehabilitation, because all of these rogue AIs who have at various points tried to kill the entire crew, it's kind of about finding ways that they can exist in society and finding things that they learn to value enough to stop being the evil rogue AIs that they are. Admiral Paco says he played roughly 25% of Star Trek characters. Listen, you're not wrong. There is literally an episode of Deep Space Nine where both Weyoun and Brunt show up. So Jeffrey Combs played 2 characters in a single episode of Deep Space Nine. That's how many characters he played in the franchise. Anyway, they're kind of split up, and they split everyone up. They have Boimler and Tendi go over to the Daystrom Institute, because the Daystrom Institute has the rogue AI rehabilitation program where both Agamus and Peanut Hamper have been rehabilitating. And although their plan is to Peanut Hamper's up for parole, and so their plan is once she gets to parole, she'll help break him out, and then they'll go conquer some other planet. But Tendi is here to testify at Peanut Hamper's parole hearing. And Boimler's there because Agamus says he's got intel for the Federation, but he will only tell it to Boimler. And so they're like, okay, so obviously he's just going to try and trick me into lowering my guard so that he can kidnap me and lead me on some big global domination plot. And so that's exactly what Agamus is trying for, but the whole implication as Tendi and Boimler are kidnapped by Agamus is they're fully in control and they're letting him play out, because Boimler's mission is to get intel from him. And so he goes and conquers the most easily conquered planet in the universe, and Boimler's like, oh man, this is horrible. Starfleet surely won't be able to reverse this in an hour. Oh, Lucky Otter says how they exist on screen together. So Weyoun and Brunt didn't interact in that episode of Deep Space Nine. They were in separate plots, but so Jeffrey Combs probably just he filmed them on separate days of shooting and stuff like that, because I think getting into and out of 2 sets of alien makeup in a single day, that probably would have been too tall an order. It can take a couple hours to get into and out of that makeup. So, but back to the episode. But as it turns out, Peanut Hamper, even though she was, thinking that she was lying to try and trick everyone on the parole board, once she read the statement that she had for the parole board, she realized that she actually kind of believed it. The rehabilitation's actually working, and she doesn't want to do the global domination. She just kind of wants to go back to the other exocomps and find value and community there. And when Agamus realizes she's ditching his plans for global domination to just help out her family, and Agamus won't be able to do the global conquering on his own. I mean, he can do it, but it's not as fun without his new friend. He starts thinking, well, maybe I can work on bettering myself so that I can get paroled and get out of here and just hang out with my friend instead. And that's kind of the B plot of the story. The main one is that Badgie, who's the rogue AI that Rutherford had made, he was stored in Rutherford's old cybernetic implant, and a Drukmari ship finds it and tries to salvage it, but it immediately attaches onto the Drukmari captain's face, so Badgie takes over that ship. Rutherford tries to like sacrifice himself because Badgie wants to kill him so that the Cerritos crew will be free, but Rutherford decides to take a different tactic and like gives Badgie a hug because Rutherford created Badgie and Badgie has basically been trying to kill him for unspecified reasons, but Rutherford realized, I haven't been treating you as a son. And when he does that, Badgie starts getting conflicted and splits off all of his feelings of love to his dad into a new character called Gudgie. And then Rutherford tries to get him to think logically about his plans, and when the logic of what those plans entails conflicts with his desire to enact homicidal violence, he decides to split all of his logical feelings into a new character called Logicy. And so having just a bunch of different versions of Badgie the character, that was a lot of fun. And ultimately Badgie eventually just kind of realizes, once he gets control of the entire universe and like becomes like an omniscient being, that his homicidal rage isn't actually what drives him, or not anymore. He doesn't see the value in it, and he decides to ascend to become a higher being instead. So the episode was really just taking the rogue AI characters from previous episodes and giving them possibly happier endings, and trying to go with the message that anybody can be rehabilitated. And I've been thinking a lot about the messages of rehabilitation lately. I don't necessarily know that I like the whole idea of Badgie going away by gaining ultimate power, and by gaining the ultimate power he realizes he doesn't want to kill everyone. I think the implications of that are a little unfortunate, like the idea that, oh well, if Hitler gains ultimate power, maybe he'll find his humanity. Like, yeah, I don't think so. But I do appreciate that Star Trek is trying to go for the effort of finding stories about rehabilitation. I just don't know that this one was handled the best way, you know? But I think this episode was a lot of fun, and while it is references to previous Star Trek, it's references to previous episodes of Lower Decks, so we're getting continuity within the show. I don't feel like this show was very over-reliant on jokey references to previous shows in the franchise, and I like it. And also, we get some hints on what's going on with that ship that has been showing up at the beginning of each episode, the blowing up all of those other ships. As it turns out, they're not actually being blown up. They are being kidnapped, and then debris is left behind to make it look like they were blown up. So that should be interesting. I'm very curious to find out what that little ship is up to and why it's collecting different crews from around the quadrant. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm trying to get my channel monetized, so your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. I stream every Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons, with a very special shout out to my Whale Shark tier patron Ryan D and my Anemone friend tier patron Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.